Warning. The B3F podcast may contain language or subject matter that may not be suitable for kids. You've been fucking warned. Check out some friends of the show. The Two Brothers Podcast. The Trevor Jackson Podcast. Dem Jackson Boys. The Dumbass Dudes Podcast. Pop Culture Warrior. Happened in the 90s Podcast. Follow @TheAndyHarris on Twitter. Go to our website at b3fpodcast.com for merch. Click on Tell Us What You Really Think to leave a completely anonymous review of each of us.
Oh,
yeah, just some sick fuckers, and I like that.
Enjoy the show, you cunts.
all right.
Hey, that cut way low. Oh man, I'm just on top of shit
I
tonight
know. All week.
all week. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
Yeah,
I'm all right. I feel something feels strange though, and I don't know what it is.
I'm not. I didn't complain about being here when I walked in the door.
No, I guess you're right. You didn't, did you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, tonight we've got some guests with us.
But first, before we bring them on, and we talk about what we're drinking, but as a whole, it's not just the alcohol in itself. But we're almost ready to top the suicide bottle.
Sure.
And so, did you want to do this now? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to bring them on, let them,
Oh, okay.
just in case they have questions or want to make fun of us.
This is why we always talk, before the show to be sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, that's true. So, we have with us tonight from the What Kind of Party podcast, or is it? There's a question mark in the logo. So, what kind of party?
What kind of party?
Podcast?
Oh.
Yeah. So we have Simone and Mike with us from the What Kind of Party podcast.
What kind of party is this?
How are you guys, guy and gal, tonight?
Doing great.
Living the dream.
Good.
Living the dream.
We're glad you guys could make it on. I know there's a good bit of back and forth, and not for my lack of fucking up you guys' emails.
So tonight we have Moscow Mules with Grey. I cannot fucking talk tonight.
Maybach music.
We sat down. I was like, something's not right.
You got the dick mouse.
It's like we pissed in the same fountain and lightning struck us. It's so weird. We're drinking Grey Goose Moscow Mules tonight. So cheers.
Glad you
I
guys
got
are here.
my red Solo cup. Oof. Nice.
All right. And because we've never had the Grey Goose vodka before,
Yep.
it goes
Wow.
into the suicide
First
bottle.
time, huh?
Yeah, we've had plenty of vodkas, but not Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Love that.
So,
Love that.
And so I don't know if you
First
guys know
time.
if it was just today, what's up, Big T. But so we do every time we have a new alcohol that we haven't had, we pour a shot apiece into this bottle, no matter what the fuck it is. It's anything but beer. And we call it the suicide bottle. And after it fills up to right here, that's what we drink on the next episode. So
Oh wow.
it's getting close. Do you need a funnel or some shit?
I'm not sure.
Shaky handed.
I know. It's like I haven't drank in a while.
So fun. Ah, shit! It is gonna take it up. It'll be time.
It'll be close.
Oh, I love that.
Gotta go right up to there. You need about one more shot of something to go in there.
I thought that was one shot.
Yeah,
We
I'm
do
sorry.
two.
All right, here
Oh,
we go.
yes. I hope
Well,
it fills it.
You pour it. I am shaking like an alcoholic tonight.
Shake it like me, motherfucker.
I know.
I missed half. That's fine. But
It's
I
there
think that's
though.
a fill.
God damn it.
So he also right before
I
we
love
started,
this.
we mixed the Moscow Mules and decided to fucking
I
shake
gave it a little shake.
and shit exploded.
It's
You
soda.
can't shake a carbonated drink. Joey.
I gave it a little shake real quick, thinking I can. What I said was, this could go bad, but it might not. Let's try it out.
And that was
But
enough.
it did.
One little
But
shake,
it did.
and it went. And it's not quite the explosion that he says it is, but it was not.
It was close.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't small.
I'm one to
that way.
exaggerate size, so
Right.
it was a big explosion.
So yeah, I guess next week. Oh, we're with Amanda next week.
Oh no, she had to cancel.
Oh,
she's got to go to
I didn't
hospital.
know
So
that.
we'll have to. I
So,
didn't think
so
about
we're
that.
alone next week.
Yes.
Fuck me. So suicide bottle next week.
Next week, guys.
I just gotta.
So right now in that
Oh
is
my god!
it's got
It's about
multiple,
25 different liquors in there.
multiple bourbons, multiple Irish
my
whiskeys,
goodness.
some gin, some vodka,
Cavassier,
Cavassier, Villain,
some other cognac.
fucking Fireball. There's still some absinthe
Absinthe
hanging
in
around in
there,
there.
yeah.
Some ouzo.
Oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot. We put 21 in there to start with and filled it up. We drank some of it, and then we've added about 4 or 5 more since then. So
we should bottle this and sell it
it's awful.
for people that hate
So
themselves.
the last time
Yeah, I
we
was gonna
drank,
say, who's buying?
well, the last time we drank, Steven got so drunk that he walked off the show. Like he just left the show early.
Well,
It was-
okay, though. It is true. that is true. But we also had a shit ton of we were gonna do 2 episodes and we ended up having 1 episode. We split to 2
Yeah.
so it went really long. So we ended one after I drank a fuck ton of cognac liquor. And then we went to the suicide bottle and that did me in.
You're 40 years old. You should be able to hold your liquor at this point.
I should. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm honored that we were the top of you guys.
yeah,
I'm
because
honored.
if we drink something that we've had before that's already went in the bottle, we don't put it in again. We just
Yeah.
That's
So you
good,
guys
I'm glad.
only new stuff.
I
so
love
thank
it.
you assholes for topping us up tonight.
You're very welcome about that. I can't wait to watch you guys drink that.
Anyway,
All right.
so-
So,
go ahead.
what kind of party? I'm
kind
not
of
sure if I said that correctly, or if it's like if that question mark changes the inflection. But tell us a little bit about your show. I've listened to a few episodes, and I kind of get the gist of whatever. But I want to know kind of where it came from and what you're doing with it.
You want to take it, Simone? Or you want me to take it?
Go on ahead, Mike. I'll do it.
Well, yeah. So generically, we grew up together. You know, we've been neighbors / sister brother forever. And when we growing up, anytime we would go into a situation where we're like very confused of what's going on, like what's happening here, we'd always be like, what kind of party is this? So like just growing up, that was just the same. We always said growing up. And then obviously now we've started it. So it's more like we were like thinking about it, like what's a good name for the podcast itself? We were like, what kind of party? Because the concept of the podcast itself is kind of asking a question like, what kind of party is this kind of thing? Where like we're trying to get a whole bunch of different type of people doing different things in life. So like, what kind of a party that everyone's invited to, kind of thing. So it's like it has to do with what we said down the road, but still also has to do with what we want in the podcast itself.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny. I find that almost everyone that we've talked to has put a lot of thought into their podcast name and what it's about, and have some type of purpose.
Yeah, I was thinking
behind
the
it.
same thing. It's
We
like way
don't
more
have-
thought than we put it.
Yeah, ours was like, what can we come up with?
What sounds super effeminate and
Like,
very
what's the-
confusing to people.
Yeah, it was just So we but also like you said, you guys kind of had a purpose, or at least you're making it sound like there's a purpose behind the podcast and setting that up. And again, we were just like, let's hang out and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think too, like we were kind of on that same wave, and I think what kind of party just kind of worked out too, because we had the idea to do the pod, and like our idea was more so to like Mike and I know a lot of people, and it ranges from like the janitor at the school to the CEO at whomever, and we just have a diverse crop of people between the two of us that we've amassed over the years, just the social people that we are. So we've been able to kind of just like culminate a community, and we want to just bring them back into our lives, kind of thing. And then like what kind of party kind of sprung out of that, and here we are.
Here we are.
As thought out as we may seem, but like we did.
Yeah.
It kind of
Yeah.
worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, it's a way fucking better name than ours. So,
Yeah, it's simple,
Yeah, no, I like the simplicity of it though.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's cool on a shirt.
So where are you guys based out of?
New York. We're in New York. We're like you think of New York, you think of the city, but we are not in the city. We're a very rural area. So I mean, we're only about like an hour 15, 30 minutes from the city, but like it is a very like we live next to like farms and dirt roads and stuff to that nature.
Well, weirdly enough, New York's kind of like that though. You get outside of the city, and it gets
everywhere's like that. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we are in a rural area of New York.
Okay. That's nice and vague. The last time I was the last time I was in Manhattan, which was earlier last year, I had a guy that was there. Was like, yeah, we usually go an hour or so out. We'll go some apple picking and shit like that. I was like, now stay here and drink, man. I appreciate that. Mostly because they happen to like commute anywhere outside of because they were going to drive, and I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not driving to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Driving the city's different. I hate it. I hate doing that. Simone's out here doing it all the time. She's like, she lives for that.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask is how often are you going into the city?
Well, I used to work in the city, so I was in the city every day. Well, at least 2-3 times a week starting the pandemic. But now not so much.
Right.
I personally don't. Only time I go is if I'm seeing my friends. I try to stay as far away from the city as possible. If I'm not in the city, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
I like to venture out. Mike likes to stay home.
Facts.
I was just thinking about you guys being in New York, and last time I was up there, it was really stringent with like vaccination cards and all that stuff. And I was just thinking to myself earlier, it'd be really funny if we started asking for remote guests for proof of vaccination.
We don't know everything there is to know about this. You could get it through the internet. I had COVID. I talked to my sister 2 days prior to getting COVID, and she had it. Yeah. And that's when I had it. I called her and said, "Hey, thanks for giving me COVID." She's like, "How did I possibly be here?" You don't. Are you a scientist? You don't know. You could transmit
over 5G.
Fucking 5G, man.
5G,
man. You don't know what's happening. You can't prove you didn't get COVID.
You can't prove that. So. I love that.
Yeah, I just thought that would be funny, just for a big what the fuck. Hey, just email me a copy of your vaccination card and we'll get you on the show. Be fine.
Oh God.
We live. I don't know how it is where you guys are, but like Tennessee, and I don't want to get off on a stupid fucking COVID thing, but it is funny the difference. Like we're a pretty big split as far as what I'd say it was probably more than not. People like, I ain't wearing no fucking goddamn mask. That's some bullshit.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. But I also work with a guy that swears to shit that they're still going to overturn the election and give it back to Trump.
Oh
I
my
swear
God.
to shit. He still says this on a
Where was he in January 6th last year?
Right?
Call out of work that day? Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I have family members in Arkansas that still think I go to segregated schools, so it's okay. I understand.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
What were you were about to say before?
Well, I was just gonna say, because you guys have had guests like live in with you, like, did any of the COVID protocols in your area, was there any issue, or even just issues with the people themselves, actually coming in studio with you?
Well, we actually started kind of like right when it started kind of slowing down-ish, so we didn't have problems. But then there was an episode we were supposed to have, and Simone got COVID, and then our guest actually got COVID the same week. So then we did a virtual episode that week. So that was the only problem we've had with that. Thankfully, I don't want to knock on wood, but
otherwise we both was working like.
Yeah.
COVID really
he had COVID was it week before last when I was here for the episode?
2 weeks ago. 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. I had just gotten
I
over
was
it
here
Saturday,
for that.
yeah.
So
I had just kind of gotten over it. I had it about 5 or 6 days at that point.
now my wife's been sick for the last this entire week, so I probably got COVID from you and then spread it.
No,
to her.
probably not, because it was 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Probably not.
We share around here.
Yeah,
you
that's true.
sure.
So one of our friends of the show we've had on before just commented and said that he'd like to be a guest on your show because it looks like a good time.
Oh wow, I love that. I love that. Come on through.
Landover Legend.
Landover Legend, come on through. What kind of party is this?
So that's Big T. We had him on 2 weeks ago now, actually. Yeah. Right after.
Yeah, he's an actual purpose behind what he does.
Yeah.
Nice. I've actually watched a couple of your episodes as well, and I've actually watched a couple minutes of his as well. So I see. Yeah, I got it. Even when he was talking, you guys even said you have a purpose and we don't. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, I revel in that anytime we have someone with.
That's true. Yeah, you do.
Can I ask you guys why you guys started? Like, where was the origin of that? Where you're like, let's just fuck around.
That's really you basically hit the nail on the head right there. We've been friends for like 25 years, something like that, and we most of our adult life, we've not lived in the same town. We'd be somewhat close or whatever, but in late 2018, early 2019, he moved to Knoxville. I'd been here for a few years, and it was just something I had talked to him about for a long time, but we should do a podcast. And finally we're in the same town, and we decided to, as an excuse to kind of hang out.
Oh, nice.
And then it slowly turned into a little more than that.
Yep.
And that's really it.
Don't be concerned with what I'm doing on here.
I'm not paying attention to what you're doing, honestly. But,
stay in your lane.
But so anyway, we that's it. It was just an excuse to hang out that kind of progressed into something that is, I don't know, the bane in Steven's existence.
About?
I'm trying to think of the best way to say that you hate doing this podcast,
yes.
yet still come every week and do it.
Yeah,
so.
It's specifically that reason I hate this podcast.
Yeah, so that's it. And maybe we were a little ambitious and we decided to do a show every week from the beginning, and so.
No, we were joking. This show has 100% ruined our friendship. Though, like the only reason we maintain any of it is to fucking record on Saturdays. Otherwise, if this show ends, we won't talk for at least a year. I promise.
My wife asked me earlier. She's like, "So, has Steven said anything else about blah blah blah?" And I was like, "No, not." It's like, "Why not?" And I'm like, "Well, because we don't talk during the week. It's very rare that we talk during the week. It is what it is."
I mean, before though, we talked occasionally, but we still didn't talk like every
we texted a lot.
Yeah,
before then, but as far as talking, it was very rare.
No. But now if we text, it's over it's something about the fucking show.
For the most part,
yeah,
or some very rude joke that we've made about a celebrity death.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, or that.
Or that for sure.
Yeah, for sure that.
Well, the thing is, it's because we've been friends for so long, and both of us have super fucked up sense of humor anyway. And that's the only reason I think we've actually stayed friends, is because nobody else can really tolerate our abrasiveness for an extended period of time. So it's like a love-hate type of thing. But yeah, it'll be like something terrible will happen in the world, and like immediately there's a joke or a meme flying back and forth. We're terrible. We're terrible people.
One thing I noticed about your podcast, you guys are way more positive than we are. Like,
we try to be.
I mean, even at the beginning of your show, and I can't remember what you call it, but you basically give yourselves, what is it? Your mental health, basically, mental health analysis at the beginning of your show, and so. Yeah, you guys are way more positive than we are.
Mental health issues.
We do.
I know. So I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder like back in.
This is not about you.
No, I'm just talking about the mental health thing, and he mocks me for it on a regular fucking basis. So it's good to see a show that focuses on the positive side of the every goddamn week, Joey.
They're young. They're not cynical yet.
That's funny.
I mean, was that part of the purpose of starting your podcast? You wanted to kind of have some positivity there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think overall, me and Simone itself, we like to stay positive in life. We like to see the positives in life. So we kind of wanted to just bring our raw, organic self. We didn't want to be fake. We don't, So we were just more like, let's try to. Not even be positive, but let's try to tap into everyone's mental, because if you're going through some negative stuff, it's okay. So it's like, like me personally, I've been positive the whole show, but like our guests, there's been guests that come on that, they're going through some shit, and like we like that, like be real, be organic type shit. So like we don't like want positive the whole time, we want real. So it just comes off as positive.
It's all about them clicks, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So has trying to be, put positive forward, but also real. I mean, have you found that has helped you stay more positive, or? Oh,
for sure. I've seen, like, I've got more perspectives just on like we said, like we get people, like we got a barber in, we got someone that was doing like weightlifting competition. Like we get in so many different type of people. So seeing their like perspectives and seeing their negatives and pros in their lifestyle has been good for me personally. I'm sure Simone can say the same thing, but it's been good for me just to like understand and like it's bigger than me. Like, life is bigger than myself. So it's been cool. I feel like me personally, I've been definitely seeing a lot of positives in it, which is good.
Word. And you see a lot of people too who challenge your perspective. Like we have people who come on that we have like a way about them that we already assume, and then they come on and like it completely changes our perspective of it. We have to put our foots in our mouths. So it's a rewarding experience either way.
Word.
Do you guys usually when you come in to a show, do you guys have any like no-goes that you keep things kind of in a certain pocket for the purpose of the show, or does it kind of just go wherever it goes? Simone's laughing. I don't know why.
I just thought of recently we had an episode where someone came on and it was like, where you're saying this, it's like, is there anything really out of pocket? And they were like visibly like drunk. So like I know Michael and I kind of like subliminally communicate. Wow. Subliminally
Maybach music. Repeat that one more time.
They're like, wow, what are we gonna do here? But we kind of like just did it because in the beginning, our idea was like we're gonna have whomever on the pod doing whatever they're doing in life and talking about the perspective of it. So it's like you got to be able to accept all kinds of people going through whatever kind of thing, even a functioning alcoholic. So
do you find that fun to have someone on that showed up drunk, or was that a fun episode for you?
I thought the first,
I personally love it. I love it because it shows the real. Like I said, it's real. People go through that happens to people. Like it's not like a movie, like it happens. So like I enjoy like the real coming out of people.
I don't think it intimidates Michael or I either. I think it's more of just like we understand this person's kind of like in a place. I don't know. I think of both of our upbringings too, we've just been around so many different people too, and it's just like we're more interested in it than it is like intimidating.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
Word.
Yeah, we've dealt with drunk people in here before.
Because we drink a lot, but we had one person that showed up drunk and proceeded to get more drunk throughout the episode. And that's one of the only episodes we've pulled.
That's the only episode we've pulled.
Yeah, only episode we pulled.
Really?
But it was because she got so blasted, and I guess because our thing is we don't edit, right? We try to, and we've since then made sure that we're like, hey guys, we don't pull things out. It's there. Make sure you know.
Yeah.
But so we had known her. She's a friend of my wife's, and had done me a favor about a year or so prior. And so when it came out, evidently somebody she worked with heard it and shared it with her boss. And she messaged me. She was like, listen, I'm going to get fired. Could you take that down? And I was like,
I have to. Yeah. Put yourself in a horrible situation.
Well, the thing is, had it not been for the previous help out from her, I probably would have left it up just because you're a grown person. You're a fully grown adult person that's in her 30s.
40s.
Yeah, well, I'm being generous. But came on and said what you said, and but so now we're like I said, a lot more upfront about. I shouldn't say upfront, but we go out of our way to be sure. Hey, we don't edit. So
But also back then we weren't live streaming either. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's good. Bless her heart.
I don't know.
No, that's good. That's the first.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that was the first thing you guys told me. So I know you guys say that. So that was literally the first thing you said to us.
Yeah, I mean, she got so shit-faced. She was talking about assessing the president, being glad her grandmother died because she got her car and all kinds of shit like that. We were just like, she was in a dark place, obviously, but we were just like,
Well, the crazy thing is she works in radio, so she understands. She's a radio DJ, and she understands, what is okay and what's not okay.
Anyway, now Joey was livid. I was mad, but not as mad as he was.
We got to get her on What Kind of Party.
Yeah, right.
we got to value.
I've had about a 50-50 with the guests. Thank you very much.
Yeah, your guests have made me. You had way more guests make me mad than my guests make you mad.
Oh, for sure. But you're much easier to make mad than me.
Yeah, that's true. So you should pick your guests accordingly.
Fuck you.
Who are we? Whose guests are we?
Have you guys ever had a guest that just really pissed you off?
Not yet.
No. Yeah. I mean, we're only 13 episodes in.
For me, but guests that piss me off. Not yet.
Yeah. Because like the beginning. Now we're all talking to people that we know. It's not like random people, so it's not like
right.
We have a relationship with them outside of the podcast. So but it's not
annoying me.
One of our hosts
bore me.
You know, it is what it is.
Whose guests are we? Who found us?
You're mine.
Nice.
You are
love
my
that.
guest.
Joey.
Love that. We got to put on for Joey. We got to put on for Joey.
No, we share. You're our guests.
No. We're not married. What's mine is not yours. We are not married anymore. Oh God. So what do you enjoy? I mean, what have you enjoyed the most about doing your show? I mean, has it affected your friendship with each other? You've known each other for years and years. I mean, has it affected that, and has it affected it positively or negatively? So, I want to answer for both of you.
No, I mean, she can answer too, but I call myself out too because I annoy her a lot. Because there's times where like I'm texting her like, bro, I need you to do this for me, or like I need your answer, like just answer me. But like communication, but like it's not like it's like bad because that's how we've always been. It's not like but that's one thing for me. I know I annoy her a lot, but I tell her like, bro, I know I'm annoying, but answer me so I'm stopping being annoying.
I know I frustrate Michael because I see his messages and then sometimes I like just, you know.
I know she does. That's why I call her out. I'm like, bro.
But like I also know Mike is really passionate about the pod and some things can wait, you know. But like honestly, I think this pod is like going to be something that does open up our friendship, like in our adulthood, a little bit more because I feel the frustrations and like just shit that we just need to work through, and it's just. I don't know. It's just going to be an experience, you know. But
no, for sure,
like,
for sure.
We
had a point early on that we had to come to Jesus a little bit because
it was about 14, 15 months in.
Yeah. Because see, I do very little. Like I do a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, that's
what I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Very little. So he was the one that's always messaging me, "Hey, you need to get this done. Hey, come on. What about this? What about this?" I was just like, And even now, like I do the audio for us.
Yep.
And I've taken over much more of the booking. You do. You know,
yes,
you reach out, but usually put me in, even though I fucked up with these guys trying to keep the right email address. But so I do all that, but otherwise I just usually show the fuck up. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't watch shit. And so like you would be like, oh, have you listened to these guys? They're this good. They sound blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, no, I'll talk to them when I get there. You know,
I consider the whole not preparing, not as far as not listening.
Part of my role.
Sure, the not listening to people, I consider, because one of us, I like to listen to other guests a little bit to get a little bit of a feel. Mm-hmm. And I like that you come in blind.
Yeah.
I think it offers something different, honestly. Yeah. So it's like one of us comes in with poor sight and the other one's just completely blind. Right.
But prior to that, I was literally just showing up. I would get the audio files done last minute, and that was
well, you still do that.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you know, but you don't know. You don't know when I post them.
Yes, I do.
They're just in time. You want me check? Still?
Right before I go to bed, I check because I want to see how long the episode is.
Bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, but just wait. Once you're get another 100 episodes in and see if you guys don't have conversations like this.
No, we had our makeup time on an episode.
Yeah, we did.
It was called Kiss and Make Up.
We did.
So
nice.
I apologized, and we sort of like I still refuse to do social media.
That's fine.
Well, we've talked about that. Like I hate doing it, but I also hate how he does it. Yep. So I just complain and bitch to him about how he does social media, and I still do nothing about it. So.
Love that. That's how it has to go. It has to go like that.
So how do you guys pick the guest? Does one of you pick? Both of you pick? Do you run it by each other? Has one person picked the guest that the other person didn't like, or?
Well, it's kind of like we have like a notes in our phone that we can both see. So we'll write down a whole bunch of people like who we want on, and then we'll communicate before. Like I actually just recently talked to someone that we're gonna get next week, and like I just relay that message to her, and she basically just says yes or no. Or like if she's like she knows people too, so she'll be like, oh, this person will be good too. So then we'll go from there. But usually I'll be the one that will go out to the people and say, hey, like formally inviting you to the pod, whatever. But she definitely knows beforehand before I invite someone on.
Right.
So it's not. Yeah.
No, and I was going to say I kind of take a little bit of a Steve approach, and I like to be blindsided sometimes. And I won't pay attention to what Mike is saying, or if he has the questions, you know. Surprise me.
So how much did he tell you about us, or how much did you know about us before you came
Mike
on here?
had brought you guys up to me probably 45 times, I'll be honest. He's like, "Yo, did you watch the pod? Did you watch the pod? Did you watch the pod?"
Yeah.
I did eventually watch you guys a couple days ago, and I'm like, "Oh,
On
this
your
will
way
be
home
fun. You guys
on your way home from work tonight?
exactly.
Well, I pulled up one of your episodes. I watched about 3 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'm good. And
Yeah, get an idea, you know.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
their audio doesn't suck,
And
and they have a good camera. I don't care about anything else. It'll be fine.
Crazy is I listened to a whole episode last night of theirs while I was cooking, and then listened to the rest of one I had started while I was at the grocery store today.
Jesus.
Oh, nice.
So committed.
Yeah, you guys sound exactly like how we did it. Like I listened to everything, and she's just like, no, I'll be all right. It's exactly the same.
I'm there for the
Exactly the
conversation.
same.
Well, we like to know who has vetted us and who hasn't, because we've had some people like absolutely not vet us and then come on and be like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Afterwards. And then we've had some people that say, I need to check you guys out before I can come and be on. And it's both of those things are a little bit foreign to us, because it's like, I don't care if you want anyone that wants us on, we're fine. Anyone that wants to be on here, for the most part, we're fine.
Yeah, really, our only rule, or I wouldn't say rule, but expectation is just like a baseline of respect, right?
That's
like you
it,
come on respectful of us, we'll respect it. I don't care where you're coming from or what your views are. If you'll be respectful and have a conversation, I'll fucking talk to you. I don't care what it
Yeah, I
is.
love that.
And it doesn't mean you can't talk shit and bust each other's bust balls or whatever. That's fine. We actually love it when people do that. But yeah, I
But
mean,
respectful in the sense of
sure.
respectful of the viewpoint, not being
Of course.
whatever.
for sure.
Yeah, no, understood for sure. No, it's good. I know, like I said, when I watched it, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Like, I'm gonna have a good time, like on this, because you guys, I love your like rapport. You guys have that like, we're gonna fuck around with you guys, but at the same time, we're gonna talk.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I love your neatly trimmed beard. So
well, I appreciate that.
I've had that actually since he was 9 years old. So
okay,
Oh, nice.
a buddy of mine had a cousin when he was 14. He had a full fucking man beard, and we hated him so much.
that was my.
Yeah, I have a buddy that's 40 that has a full fucking man beard, and I hate him so much because I can't. Like, I shaved for the first time in 2 weeks earlier.
For the first time.
For the first time in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like,
I
can go 2 or 3 weeks
two and
without
a half.
shaving. Yeah,
2.5 for me.
doesn't
3.
bother me.
Yeah, I could never. I wish I could.
See, I hate having a beard so much, but I also really hate shaving because beards are inherently fucking disgusting, right? There's nothing you can better. Okay, a nice, clean, like cut, trim beard like yours is less gross, right? Because it's manageable and you're taking care of it. But fuck all that noise, man. That's such a pain in the ass to have a beard that looks that good. I let mine grow until it's so gross I can't stand it. Then I shave it off. Then I hate myself when I look in the mirror every day until it grows back again. That's the cycle of my life.
It goes good with your dad bod. So you're fine. Yeah.
It covers up the extra 2 chins under there, and then it shaves, and I'm just like, I look like a chubby fucking frat kid. It's terrible.
Gives all those dicks something to rub against.
Right? Well, the last time his daughter came home and I had just shaved, and she walked in and she goes, "Oh God, you look fat without a beard." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks."
Yeah.
I know.
Great self-confidence. You boosted it up really quick.
I love kids.
Gotta love kids.
Oh no, she's
She's an adult. My daughter's 20. My daughter's 20. She butts me, but he's their weird Uncle Steven. So I mean, like their whole life, he's been around back and forth. And that's what they know him as.
So it's only right. It's only right if she says that.
You know, the nicest thing that his daughter ever said to me is we were outside. She goes, "You know, you're like the creepy uncle I never wanted." It's like, oh, so sweet.
Nice.
So, Simone, I know you are into music. Like you write music, you sing. I don't know if you play any instruments. I haven't seen anything from that. But how does that play, or does that play into the podcast at all?
I wouldn't say plays into the podcast at all. Really, too much.
Okay.
Wow, great answer, Simone.
I mean, they're 2 separate things. I mean, I did a thing with Justin one time and the after party, but that's about it.
But I just didn't know if maybe any of your music ever is used for the podcast or anything like that. Like I don't. So I didn't. It's obviously
No, the music thing is very new. So, but also no, I haven't created anything for the pod.
Okay.
You gotta get on that. You gotta get on that, Smo.
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
You
What are
guys
you
are
gonna
much
do?
more supportive of each other. I would not do any music for the podcast simply because he would tell me how much it sucked, even if he liked it. He'd be like, "That's fucking terrible." I'm like, "Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not true. If it's good, I'll tell you.
Mike
it's
tells
good.
me it's good. Mike tells me
I
it's
do.
good.
No.
So
I'll give her honest feedback.
You
Honest
guys
Tell me
feedback.
if
build each
it
other up.
sucks,
You guys
so-
are nice to each other.
Yeah.
I'll let
What
Mike-
I've
Yeah.
heard, I'll tell you the same thing. What I've heard is good. You definitely have a good voice. So I'll tell you that.
I appreciate
It's
But-
genuine too. It's always been that way.
There you go. So you said it's new. What do you mean new? 1 year, 2 years, 2 weeks? What are we talking?
July.
half a
I
year.
decided that I was going to like pursue and actually book gigs and make my own music, those kinds of things.
Okay.
Nice.
So
So
I'm working on now.
how are the gigs going?
Well, I had one at my mom's place. That was the first one. And then thereafter, now I am booked at a brewery in Middletown, which is cool. So I'm getting booked
Nice.
locally.
For sure.
One of the coolest projects that I got to work on was a Rolling Stone project with Mike Tyson. I got my vocals underneath that. I was singing Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. That's the coolest thing since July.
Yeah.
That
Nice.
I can say.
Right. So
You said Mike Tyson?
that's what I was going to say. Did you get to meet his tigers?
No, I didn't actually get to meet anybody from the team other than just me singing the vocals and being in
Yeah.
the article and everything.
Probably not the same Mike Tyson though. That's good.
Yeah, no, it was a different one.
Yeah,
The
that's what I
great person.
Oh, okay. So how did you get hooked up on that gig then? I mean, you decided to take it seriously in July, and you've done something for Rolling Stone already. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just that
you're
I
doing
mean,
something
people
right.
that I've met along the way. You know, someone was handed a project. I have music out there, and they asked me to be on it, and I was just very grateful for the opportunity. You
Yeah.
know,
Nice.
so,
I dislike you now. You should. I'm just gonna kick you off the show. I pursued it seriously for fucking 10 years, and I end up with an opium or a fucking pill addiction, and you know,
Jeez.
In 3 marriages.
and 3 marriages.
Yeah.
So
everybody's
good
path
job.
is different.
I'm just hatefully jealous. That's all. That's all it is.
What did you play? Did you sing? What did you do?
Yeah, sang, guitar, wrote, all that.
Spoken
shit.
word.
Spoken.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You stopped? Why'd you stop?
Because it was very not healthy for me.
I was gonna say you didn't hear about the pill addiction in 3 marriages.
Okay, wait. Sorry. I did. I missed
No,
that.
yeah,
Bad.
that wasn't a joke. I actually had a pill addiction in 3 marriages.
Okay.
You missed that part, Simone. You missed the biggest part.
Thanks for bringing that up, Simone. I really fucking appreciate it. Well, hold on. For the record, I'm on.
You're
my
on your third
marriage,
marriage,
and
yes.
we've been married 9 years.
Fingers crossed.
Right? And it's been more than my first 2 combined.
Yes, that's true.
Nice.
And part of the reason, like, since we got married, I got medicated for the bipolar.
Sure.
And I decided it was if I wanted to continue to be married, I probably had to get out of the music thing because, not healthy. And it's both feet or no feet. Like, if I
Yeah.
continue music, I was just going to be sucking dicks for more oxy.
No,
So-
I guess definitely see what you're talking about. You don't yet have that issue.
I just took that as she totally can picture me sucking dick behind a 7-Eleven for oxy. Like, oh, I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him.
No, I just
worse than
look at 'em.
the industry. I get it. You know.
Well, I have, regardless of all that, like I have a highly addictive personality. Not that people are addicted to my personality. I am easily addicted to things. So yeah. And so I still smoke, and that's the one thing that it'll kill me, and just my children when I do it with my windows up. But that's
Cigarettes.
Fingers crossed it happens on here live. So,
What was that?
Anyway.
Sorry.
I said cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know she smokes weed when she has cigarettes when you say you smoke.
that
Yeah.
little bit of respect she had for you because you're in music and she's a cigarette, like, it's gone.
I will say though, for me, the smoking is the best thing I ever did for my voice.
No,
Granted,
you-
it's
that's
not really
true.
worth the health trade-off, but Yeah.
I do understand.
Had I been successful, totally worth the trade-off, but not now.
Now you just do it because it looks cool.
Yeah.
How you guys liking that Moscow? Is it good?
It's pretty good.
It's all right. I added more vodka. You went too hard on the
Really?
ginger, but it's good.
Yeah, do you have ginger beer in it? Because I got the ginger beer. It tastes literally like ginger. Like I feel like I'm tasting.
Yeah, that's what.
ginger
That's
right
what's up.
now. Yeah. This,
But I
really-
actually put less.
vodka,
I
it was
put
much
I
better.
put less ginger beer and more vodka than the recipe called for. So
Yeah, it was still not enough vodka.
no, you're right.
I also have an
Ginger.
alcohol problem. I'm comfortable with all my addictions and my amount of self-loathing that I carry around with me
Yeah.
on my back always. I'm just gonna make this as uncomfortable an interview as possible.
It's fine. Yeah. You want to talk about suicide or anything?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Wow.
So,
You guys are young and positive. You haven't quite gotten as cynical and hateful as we have yet. Not that you will. Most normal people never get to the level of cynicism that we have.
you know, it's interesting. I asked my wife earlier. I was trying to write down some topics going to the bag of shit, and I said, "Give me any random topic, just off the top of your head. Give me a random topic." And she gave me one, and I was like, "Okay." And so I wrote it down. I was like, "Give me another." She gives. I was like, "Okay," and I write it down, and I say, "All right, now think of something crude, something that you consider crude, and give me this." Give me a random topic, something crude. And she's like, "What do you mean crude?" And I said, "Crude for you, my crude and your crude." And she's like, "Well, what's crude?" And I immediately said, "Gangbang." She said, "Oh my God, that's where you go first." And I was like, again, your crude is different than my crude.
Yeah.
Give me your crude.
Yeah, but that's that's lightweight.
That is yeah. Oh,
You
God.
guys, by the way, you don't have to. We're going to argue and tangent a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
You can jump in at any point in time. Call him and come back. I do. Fine.
Like the email said, you're basically guest host tonight, and you can
Whatever you
Love
want.
that.
you can jump in and you can take over if you want to do the show. It's fine. We'll go out.
I love
You're now
that.
tapped in too?
Yeah, now
Do
tapped in too. Steven has no idea because he didn't watch the show. He has no idea what I'm trying to say right now.
So I'll tell you, going back to your show. So your most recent episode, and I can't remember the guy's name. You guys are very positive. That was one of the most positive motherfuckers I've ever heard in my life.
Which one?
I like him. Like, I don't have any problem. And usually positivity just rubs me the wrong way.
I get that. I understand.
But he was like super positive. But then there's other things. Like, I think you asked him at one time, 5 years from now, and he's like, "Well, in 5 years, I'm going to be married. I want to have some kids." And you're like, "So you want to be married in 5 years?" And he said, "No, I'm going to be married in 5 years." I was like, "Whoa, all right." You really not
Nice.
leaving a lot of.
It was Dante. It was Dante.
Black kid?
Yeah, it was definitely Dante.
I thought it was Jay. I don't know.
No, it was definitely Dante. It was definitely
Did you
Dante.
just tell us you can't say that?
Why? Y'all just never mind.
Did you say that? Did he say? Because if you said that, I missed that because I heard her say.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right.
No, I have a question for you guys. When you see two
Okay.
positive like kids or even adults, what is like your perception on that? Like when you first originally see like, yo, these people are positive, like, but where's like you're like, fuck these kids?
No, I
so-
don't feel that way.
My thing is, I'm, to my own credit, one of the few things I believe is good about me is I'm very good at reading people, right? And so if I perceive it as a genuine positivity, I got no problem with it. If it's those people that are like, "Well, by golly, things are going to be great," I'm like, "Yeah, you're full of shit. You're as miserable as the rest of us fucking assholes." So I appreciate people being genuine in general. And so whether you're a negative, like I'm always one, like, just own your shit. If you're a miserable piece of shit, own being a miserable piece of shit. There's nothing wrong with trying to be positive, but don't act like a positive motherfucker if you're, crying with a barrel in your mouth on the weekends. Like, you're not
Right.
that fucking positive. Like, be honest, like, right? It's honesty. And if you're sincerely positive, now, after I talk to somebody for a little bit, I might write them up as being naive, but
Yeah.
I'm still not going to be the one to stomp on their dick. Like, okay, life's going to kick the shit out of you at some point. You have no idea what's coming, but You do
But
you,
that's a
Buttercup.
rite of passage.
Yeah, it's a rite of
too.
passage.
Being a human
Do you
being.
better?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like if it's genuine positivity, I'm not going to go out of my way to stomp on it for somebody else. That's just not how I am. But
I understand
Anyway.
that fully. Understand completely.
I feel the same way,
I feel like
but I also
Michael's
have.
is a little more of the negative Nancy in their little duo.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't.
Why
think
do you
so.
think that? I want to hear why.
What's that?
Why?
Simone's over there. Whatever. Like I'm yeah, both of you guys. But I'm saying I not that you're not positive. I feel like you have to put in more of an effort to be positive than you let on.
I can see.
Not
I
that,
mean,
not that it's not a genuine attempt, but I feel like you try a lot harder than
He thinks about it.
Yeah, you think about it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I won't even say
I can
think
see
about
that.
it. It just means it's an effort.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Meaning like it's not an innate state to see the positive. It's a choice to see the positive.
I see.
Like some people see it inherently, right? Immediately, oh yeah, things are gonna look up, whatever. And then some people are like, okay, this sucks, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're gonna do what we need to do, and then they're positive in that regard. Maybe a little bit of both, but I think the older you get, the more it'll be of a I think it's genuine. I think the older you get, the more it's going to be of a choice and a decision to stay on the positive, as opposed to Simone, who's obviously like, fuck this, I'll do what I want.
I see that. I think it makes sense.
I think
I choose.
Simone's on a 50-50 on positive and negative, and I think
Depends on how much.
I think
weed you
he's
smoke
I think
today.
he's way more positive than her.
Okay.
So.
How you say
But I
so?
think they're both. But I think
What?
they're both real. I think
Yeah.
they're both being. I think they're both being real and true. So
Simone just called me out for something I didn't hear what she said because you were running your boring ass mouth. What'd you say?
No, I was asking, why do you say so? And we asked why Michael was negative. Why am I negative?
I don't think you're negative. I think you're 50-50.
Oh.
I think you're 50-50. And
What
I
do you guys
think.
classify yourself as?
Oh,
I'm a fucking realist. God damn it. No, I would consider myself a cynical realist. That's how I would classify myself.
yeah, that's close. But I'm also someone that can also look at a situation, be fucking livid about it, and then go, shit could be worse though.
Yeah.
I definitely have that ability to go, shit could be worse. Now, I don't say that to other people anymore because that's bit me in the ass a couple of times recently. But yeah, for sure. But
See, I'm not a could be worse. I try to look at it like some shit's going down and it sucks. I'm like, it's fucking stupid and it sucks and I hate it. But I can try to see another person's look at
Sure.
a different angle of okay, I can understand why they're being a piece of shit. That doesn't mean they're not being a piece of shit. I don't want to break their fucking teeth in, but I get where they're coming from, so I can settle the fuck down and move on, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I get everything you guys are putting up. Everything is making a lot of sense.
So my thoughts on Simone is you're into the music business.
There's a dark side there.
There's a dark side there. Automatically, you see the dark side of that automatically. And it also makes people, to an extent, a little jaded. But if I'm not mistaken, you work in a bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see some shit when you work in a bar. And that causes a little bit of that, for lack of a better word, reality. And so I think you definitely have some positive, some things you think of on positively, but I think you definitely have that other 50% that you're like, no, fuck this shit.
Maybe it's not a fuck this shit, but
I think it depends on the situation.
Maybe.
I'd be willing to bet if they both answer honestly that she knows she said it, and he's heard her say before, no, fuck this shit.
What's that?
I'm trying to think. Where am I? Fuck this shit.
I feel like you're like that. Yeah.
Thinking back to why you came on here.
No, not at all. This is fun. I like these kinds of conversations because it's like a reflective kind of thing.
I enjoy it.
So Mike, if you didn't pick up on that, she said, "Hey, fucker, this is the kind of shit I want to talk about."
Switch the whole shit up.
There's 50% there that I'm talking about.
See, the reason I was going to talk about Simone, I didn't go too in depth because I was just going purely off the artist thing. Because
Sure.
there's no, the best art comes from a dark place. All of it throughout time, it's how it is. So if you're a writer and you're pursuing, and depending on what you're writing about, it's there, whether you give into it and acknowledge it or not. But like music or art, in my opinion, is a way of expressing a lot of that shit without delving into it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a vent for whatever's there, heartbreak, heartache, and it doesn't have to be like negative, fuck this shit, but it's dark stuff is how a lot of it comes out.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I would say, like, even to just get too personal, a lot of my issues, especially just detaching from like my mother. So a lot of my feelings go into my music that way. I mean, it as a release and just being able to express it, you know, because it's not like something people really relate to or whatever, because I know I've noticed, you know, people are kind of just like, you know, like keep the family bonds together and everything. Let's just love your mom. Like, and it's not really always like that, you know, like you have these adverse feelings and kind of things. And
100%. I know exactly what you're
talking about. And things like that, like the relationship that I have with my mother or whatever, they translate right into my music. And if that's the dark kind of things that you're talking about, yes, right. I have to touch them. I have to understand them in order to be able to send a message or be able to release them or free them.
Right. And what makes to me, and especially with successful people or people that do well, is when you can keep that delineation, right, where you realize that you're using one as a tool to fuel the other, right? As opposed to the route that I took, that I pour that darkness into the music and then also into drugs and then also into, you know, a lot of infidelity, you know, like, you know, whatever happened while I was out on the road. But you know, I couldn't keep them separated. It was an all-consuming thing, as opposed to that I'm a narcissist to the core, and like just
do you
whatever.
Think so? Do you really think you're a narcissist?
Okay, I'll throw this out when as far as I'm spitting on the artists here. I believe that almost all narcissists are part self-loathing, and because you're your worst critic with your art, and this is awful, and blah blah blah, and equal part narcissist, because to perform you have to want that approval, you have to want the validation. It comes along with it. So it's a type of narcissism, even if it's not being even if you're not a narcissist.
I don't know. I think, you know, because I don't create for approval. I create for the expression.
So why are you touring? Why are you playing gigs?
Because I like to do it. It makes people feel good, and I like the expression on people's faces. I mean, even before
that's selfless narcissism.
You like the expression on people's faces
because it makes you feel good.
It's not a negative thing.
No, I know it's not.
Because it goes back to the argument, though, is there any truly selfless thing? Because everything selfless you do is gratifying for yourself. So you're getting something out of every interaction.
Fair. But in terms of like just it being like an innately selfish, like for me solely, is not where I'm at.
No, but there's
like,
an element
in terms
of
it. Like understanding how it makes people feel and that it does make people feel is the important thing. It's not like, but it is a give and take in that kind of situation.
And I'm just picking at you right now. I'm being a dick because
but it does help me think about it though, so I appreciate you.
Because I put it this way, because I know a lot of musicians. I was the same way. I was like, hey, I just create to create, right? But if nobody gave a shit and listened to it, I might still write in my bedroom, but I'm not gonna like play gigs and I'm gonna do all that stuff. Like it's like, oh, people like this. Okay. It feels good. It's doing whatever. I'm gonna go play some more. This is cool.
You can have some narcissism inside without taking it out on other people.
Well, narcissism now with the mental health age that we live in has such a negative connotation, right? It's like, oh, that person's a narcissist. It's an immediate vilification.
Yeah,
they're shitty. And narcissism is just a love of self.
Is it ego that you're talking about?
Though?
Yeah, but ego's part
narcissism,
of narcissism.
Like that's not a good thing. But like ego, I understand. Like
it's not usually a good thing, but it's not always a bad thing.
The ego is
okay. Maybe a strong word with narcissism, but it's an extreme love of self. Basically, it's inflated ego.
It's narcissism to a lesser degree. Is all it is. I mean, it's all part of narcissism. There's just different degrees of it. I mean, nothing is all one thing or all the other thing.
Narcissism.
Well, I mean, so here's a form of narcissism. And this is what I deal with from time to time. Is like, let's
go to Google.
Whereas some people, Steven, for example, like if he gets on stage, his thought is everyone should be listening to me. I'm here performing, and you should be listening to me. Right. And That's a form of narcissism. I have a form of narcissism that goes, I'm not important. Why would anybody want to listen to me? I'm not that important enough for someone to listen to me. I'm still putting me to the forefront there. I'm just thinking negatively on myself in that.
Right. And so what about the
Yes.
person that's just, I have a talent that I want to share? Then what?
It's not that sharing the talent is narcissistic, but
Well, yeah.
liking the feeling that you get because it's making other people feel whatever kind of way it's making them feel. There's a bit of narcissism.
Oh, here's
like I said, it's not necessarily a bad
here's
thing.
the disconnect.
Okay.
And so I didn't realize this, but narcissism has become an actual psychological term that's used to discuss
Sure.
diagnose a mental disorder
It
of
is,
narcissism.
yes.
That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
Self-adoration, which would be ego. We'll just say ego. It's ego, because if you're thinking I need to do this because people need to hear it, you're automatically putting yourself in a place of here to here. It automatically, right? So you're automatically having some type of separation of, hey, I have this thing that all the people need. Let me delineate this to the people. And there's, again, nothing wrong with that. It's just, and I'm not accusing you of being like an asshole piece of shit diva or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dumbass dude. Fucking Evan, go eat a dick. Run away.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys that watches one of our shows.
A narcissist may resort to psychological
Oh, you
tricks.
Googled that? Thank you so much.
He or she wants. All narcissists are egotists, while not all egotists are narcissists.
All right, thank you, Evan. Fuck off.
That is helpful, actually, Evan.
So anyway, yeah. But, I mean, I am a narcissist. I'll give you that 100%. I'm a manipulative fucking cunt.
Yeah.
If I want to be. I choose not to be, but
Sure. So, Mike, you're being awfully quiet during
guys,
this
how's it
conversation.
going?
You're being
This
awfully
is
quiet.
not my conversation. I'm gonna let you. I was observing. This is my time to observe. Listen.
Let's change out observe for judge, and I feel like we're a lot more accurate here.
All right. So I got a question.
No judgment.
Which of you do you guys each consider who's the talker and who's the who talks less than the other on your podcast?
Okay, I was gonna say in real life or the podcast.
On your podcast.
The podcast would definitely be me. I mean, in real life, it's kind of. Real life, I would say it's the same. What do you say? I mean, the podcast is definitely me. I know that. But what do you think?
On the podcast, Mike takes charge. Mike, Mike does the thing. I don't know, but in real life, it depends.
Depends.
It really does.
It depends. It depends on what's going on.
Like social situations.
And you both are good with those. I didn't hear what
She's
she
running
just
away.
said. Oh.
She does that very often. If you watch her episodes, she'll want to write once an episode for sure. Look, there you go.
Are you in a bar?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was like a pee emergency. I played that game. Jesus Christ, I gotta go.
Yeah.
No, we're all
You've
here.
done that on here before.
I have.
actually.
So have you.
I don't remember that one.
I don't.
But anyway, so do you agree, Simone, that you said he more takes charge? I mean, does that work for you? Do you like that dynamic?
Yeah, 100%. Because then I don't have to think about like, what are we talking about next when this is like going south? Like, well, no, I want to take on that responsibility. I like to chime in. I like to have my little scream in his ear every once in a while. I have questions when shit interests me. I like playing.
So
my
you guys
part.
have specific roles then that you've embraced.
Well, we've talked about it too, because like even like in the beginning phases, there was a time where like we weren't really like we didn't have that like understanding, and it was like even at the end we were kind of like that didn't really go as well as we thought it would, and someone was just like, yeah, I didn't really know what to do. I was just like, all right, let me take lead, and she's like, I love that, do that. So it's been good ever since.
Gotcha.
I feel like we split that pretty well as far as that
Pretty
goes.
well.
Like I get annoyed as shit when he starts telling a story because God, fuck, he'll talk forever. Like he like my ex-wife, he could tell a story that should only take like 4 minutes max, and it'll turn to a 10 goddamn minute story. Like I don't need the details, man. Just fucking point. ABC.
That reminds me. No, just kidding.
Fuck you, man. So at this point of the show,
So
go ahead.
I know what you're fixing to say,
Yeah, I am.
and I have a little more information than you have.
Okay.
I know one or both of you guys may have to cut out a little earlier than we normally do our show. So if we get to that time, let me know. Ordinarily, we would take a break right about now. We take about a 5 to 10 minute break so Steven can go smoke and
Piss off the
whatever.
porch.
And, piss off the porch. Yeah. And all that jazz.
Because
So,
Tennessee.
yeah. It's all the South. It's not just Tennessee. But if you guys need to go now, that's fine. If you want to hang around after break, perfectly fine as well. So
I'll be good. I'm good. I'm here.
Someone's like,
I'll hang out.
you hang out. Okay, so we'll take a break, about 10 minutes or so. Mike, I will text you, and I guess you'll text Simone.
she won't answer her phone.
Well, right.
She
My
won't.
phone's dead, but I have my laptop on. I'm here waiting for my text.
So we'll take about a 10-minute ish break, but I'll text you right before we're going to come back on, and then we'll come back on.
I'll be booting everybody backstage.
And then we will we'll go wherever it goes.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, be back in 10.
All right, guys.
All right, hey guys.
All right.
I think we should try someone there. We switched.
Simone.
What's that?
I thought Simone was. Where you at?
There you are. There you are.
Hey,
Well,
what-
I'm leaving. I couldn't find the exit button. I gotta close up.
Oh,
I wanted to say goodbye. This is fun. I want to be back on. So
that was fun. I want to hang out. I like you guys. Oh fuck, I gotta go.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I know. I do
Fine.
that to Mike
So-
all the time. That's the communication thing he's talking about. So in real time.
Okay.
Mike, Mike, give her my number, and she can hit us up, and then we'll get her back on time. We'll just do all Simone's music.
Sounds good.
I'll say we'll interview her as an artist and feed her narcissism.
Yes. Tell me more about the ego. Talk soon.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.
It's just me now. You got me.
That's fine. That's fine. God damn it, I left my drink outside.
Uh-oh.
Fucking balls.
Oh, no.
I will. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we're gonna. All right. Now that the dead weight's gone. So, do you like podcasts? Like, and I'm not asking you to talk shit about her, but when he said earlier that this podcast has made our friendship been detrimental to our friendship, that's probably the truth. So I mean, has it affected your friendship at all?
We haven't kissed in weeks.
I'm weak.
No,
No, honestly, truthfully speaking, like I said, Simone and I knew each other since I was in third grade, she was in second grade, and our origin story of knowing each other, I hated her.
That's what I was
with
going to say.
passion.
You did not like her when you were
No,
young, right?
I with a passion hated her. So we kind of got that out of the way. But I mean, truly, but it's good though because our communication is semi-strong, where we can actually say what we want, what we don't want. Kind of saying let's leave friendship and business separate, even though it's kind of it's not really business because it's really just a
hard to do.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're only 13 episodes in, so it's not horrible. I mean, it's not like we've been doing this for years. So I mean, there's obviously still going to be learning curves, and we're going to probably go through some shit. But overall, it's really been not too bad. I really can't complain at all.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, though, we have a unique friendship, to say the least, outside of this. Personality-wise, I mean, we've changed a little bit as you do as you get older, but we've kind of always been the same, sense of humor, assholes, type of thing to each other. And so really, the big thing is that's changed with doing this is we see each other every fucking week. And
Right.
I'm the type of person, I don't like being around people that much anyway. So when it was every now and then, I was like, I get to see Joey. It's going to be great. And I was like, fuck, I got to go see Joey.
We started out doing it every other week, and we would just record 2 episodes so that
Right.
we could release every week. And
Yeah.
and then after a little while, it felt like episodes where, especially if we went over some news topics and things like that, it was dated. It felt dated.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yep.
So,
Yep.
But really, though, as far as we say about ruined our friendship, but it really hasn't. It's just
strained.
It's like the reverse of like if you haven't slept in like 4 days, you feel like you have to sleep like 2 to catch up on sleep. It's basically like if we quit doing the podcast, we won't talk for a month or I'm sorry, a year just to like make up on space. Like, it hasn't ruined. Like we're still be friends.
Oh yeah.
I just
but
won't
it's still
talk.
not been a positive impact on our friendship.
No,
Right.
and I wouldn't leave my house for a fucking year after this show ends. But
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we still hang out like as friends, like completely like don't talk about the podcast at all, and like we've always done that. So like I mean, if that changes, then I think obviously then it would probably change. But as of now, we all still hang out. Like there's a coffee shop where we all have like the karaoke, her bar, and everything. So like we still hang out like completely separate from the podcast. So like we still have a friendship.
Yeah, no, that's
very rare for us. I mean, like we may go to Waffle House together.
Yeah,
But
also the older I've gotten, I don't like going out and doing like I don't like being in public and shit like that. So like we don't like he likes to still go out to a bar every now and then, have dinner, some shit like that. Like, and I just hate doing that. So I mean, we probably would like most of the not spending time together at all is me, and I'm okay with that. But,
I'm okay with it.
But I'm also like we know like we're both can be when people first meet us. We can be very abrasive. Me, I think more so than you, but
different types of
abrasive. Yeah, but even hanging out like with each other, and he'll tell you the same thing. Like if we were to go out and do something by the end of the night, we're both like, God damn it, I'm ready for that guy to go fucking home.
Well, you're abrasive in things you say, and I'm abrasive in that I won't talk to you when I first hang out and meet you or be around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think too, though, I might be abrasive in what I say and the harshness in which I say it, but you come across as more of a dick.
You think so?
Yeah.
You and my wife.
Yeah. No, I do because just your mannerisms and just like you said, that kind of quiet and like you're very short worded when you first meet somebody, and it comes across as being a fucking cunt. Whereas me, on the other hand, I'm just gonna be like, oh, that fucking bitch, blah 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 blah, and people are like, oh god damn, who is he? It's a very different kind of
for sure.
Like the guy that played bass with me actually in my band in Hawaii is I consider a buddy. Like we still talk every now and then, but he told me like when he first met me, he goes, dude, when I met you, or when I first saw you play, I said to myself, I will never ever be friends with that asshole. Fuck that guy. And then and now like he'll text me right now. He's like, I miss you, Boo Bear. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm very loving and sweet on the inside.
Yeah.
No, I'm very. How would you put it? Like I would say I'm loyal and nice to the people I care about.
Yes, that's true. That's a good assessment of yourself.
Like if I'm nice to you at any form, I probably like you. Otherwise, I just don't care.
I understand.
It also goes to the thing, and I don't know how much this happens.
This is very ginger beer.
Sorry.
I'm saying this. I'm saying that's what I'm literally drinking ginger. Like ginger juice is what I feel like I'm drinking right now.
And I think because I'm going to assume, because I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to assume you're probably about the same age as my oldest son. And my oldest son is 20. He's 25.
Yeah, I'm 26.
Okay, there you go. And he's almost there. So, and so for our age, I mean, the time that we grew up in, like,
that's true. Yeah.
You bust balls. And if you don't like somebody, you don't do that most of the time.
That's true.
And I don't see it a lot with people your age. I don't see that happen a lot with my kids are slightly different because they grew up in a house where we all busted each other's balls all the time. Like my daughter's one of the best ball busters I know.
Yeah.
But anytime I've been around his friend, my oldest son's friends, they're not doing that. And we've always had that. And so I think that is a bit of a, different generation thing. And it's not a bad thing that the people are nicer to each other now than they used to be.
Yeah,
maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. But
I agree. So I have a 37-year-old brother and a 40-year-old brother. And I also have a 17-year-old brother. So we definitely were competitive. We talked a lot of shit in the household a lot. So there was a lot of that going on. And even growing up, like having those older brothers, I knew that kind of generation where obviously it's a little younger than you, I'm sure, but I still had that understanding, no, if I don't fuck with you, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like there's no nice guy here. But like, as you know, I'm also younger, so I put my generation spin on it. Like, I'm not them, I'm not their generation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
what's-
definitely
what's-
had that.
Oh, go ahead, man. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just saying, I definitely, you know, that was
Yeah.
a part of something
Yeah,
I saw.
Yeah, the older brothers is where that kind of has come off, just the same way as me being that way with my kids is kind of rubbed off on them. So you do get that from them. And like you said, you know, you put a little bit of your generation's spin on it. So it's probably not quite as biting as the same thing that your older brother, because we're the same age as your oldest brother. So,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, makes
No,
sense.
I was gonna say it's interesting to me though, and I think we might have talked about this a little bit before, but I think you're one of the youngest guys we've had on the show in general, but, which is not a bad thing. But what I wanted to bring up, and I want kind of your opinion on it, is I think it's interesting for like people, and I say like our age, because we're getting fucking like right now. When I remember being younger, when I saw my parents at my age, I was like, God, they're old as fuck, and now it's a whole different thing, but. Like I know a lot of people, and I think it's especially in the South, and like I'll say Texas over this away, is a lot of people our age, where they get a lot of kickback and bullshit, is because like they don't want to change the way they joke because of how things have evolved societally, right? And we've talked about that some, as far as we have to be careful about. If when it's just the two of us talking, because if we're talking off mic, even though the conversations are the same, some of the joking is going to be a little different because I know where he's coming from. He knows where I'm coming from, right? And I'm not talking about anything racial. I'm talking about just phrasing, words that might be used, whatever the case may be. Like we grew up, you know, when we were kids, saying retard, completely fine, not offensive, whatever. And now that's like one of the big ones you just don't throw out there.
Shit, we played a game on the playground called Smear the Queer.
Right. It was, and it was a football game. Right.
And it didn't mean beat the gay guy up.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I feel like you have a lot of people. It's gotten to where now, like, language is such a big thing in the way you say something. Not the intent seems to be less important as the specifics in what you say, right? Because of how that's taken to mean. And I feel like that, like I said, especially. I'm trying to verbalize what I'm trying to say, that I feel like we have a bad reputation in the South because you got a lot of people like, they ain't going to limit my free speech. I'm going to say what the fuck I want. If I'm going to call you this, I'll call you this. And I know that expands outside of not just the South, but do you find that like any of like your older brothers, the people there with, have the same issues, or do they curb it pretty well depending on who they're around?
That's actually like a good question, because I would say honestly, more my dad is more of that like old school way, like thinking. Like my older brothers, they still, you know, they still have their speech. They still say what they say, but they definitely, I feel like they see more of like, I can't say this anymore, so I will change kind of thing. Like, but like my dad.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, just, you know, my dad is more the person that's like, I don't care. Like this, you know, that's how I was. Like I've always done this. I'm not switching, kind of thing.
Right. And I think like you said, like your brother before, like we're kind of in the same boat. Like I would prefer to say what the fuck I want to say, but I understand where some of it's coming from and the need to change some of that. You know, like my dad's still the same way. As I'm gonna say what I want. I won't say it in front of them, but fuck it, I'm gonna say it if I want to say it.
100%.
And for us, like again, with me and Joey, if it's just us, it doesn't fucking matter. But like talking to anybody else and out, like I find myself sometimes having to be very conscious about what's going to come out of my mouth, just because I tend to be just whatever's off the cuff, and old habits die hard, in the sense of like, just because it's running through my brain doesn't mean it has to come out of my mouth type of thing. And it's funny to me though, the shift that society's taken in general on being so much more focused on what is said rather than how it's said.
I agree. No, I definitely agree.
Yeah, like intentions matter less and less, and the specific thing that you said, or somebody's perception of what you said, to be more specific. Because how many careers now have been shot from celebrity stuff over shit they said 10, 15 years ago when the climate... Well, that made me think. I found The States on... Do you remember the old show, The State? It was a sketch comedy show on MTV from like...
That was Showalter and
Michael Ian Black, Showalter, David Wayne, all those guys. And I was watching, and I was like, it's still one of those shows when it hits, it's hilarious, and when it misses, it just fucking left field misses. But some of the jokes, I was like, oh my god, I forgot. Like the one thing that these two guys were like, oh, we're going to this party, and they got the beer, and they show up, and they open the door, and it's like a kid's fucking party, and they're doing whippets with the balloons, and there's a clown and shit, and they're smoking cigarettes, talking to the kids about their girl problems, and then they're leaving. You're like, oh yeah, heard about another party this week from this girl that I met, and they're like, oh yeah, did you get her number? And she was like, nah, she couldn't remember it. And I was like, it was funny, but like that shit now would not go. And it wasn't even a joke about, like it wasn't a joke about molesting a kid, but the slight hint was there with the joke. But like, there's no way. Like just even smoking on screen was like a thing.
Oh yeah, it's strange. I mean, if you ever notice on beer commercials on TV, which I don't think you watch a lot of TV that's not streaming, but beer commercial on TV, you never see anyone drink a beer anymore. So like you said, the smoking made me think of that. Like they don't, it's a beer commercial and you can't show someone drinking a beer. Yeah. It's so,
so all of that. Yeah.
It's foreign is what I was going to say. It just feels very foreign to me.
So all of that rambling for me is, I remembered what I was bringing it back around to. I distracted myself thinking about the state. But yeah. So coming back to that, from your perspective and where you're at, how do you feel about that? Do you think that what is said is as important as how it's said? Do you think it's a mix of the two? Or do you think, like, what is your take on that, being in the age group that you're in?
Yeah, so I have such a strange take on it because, like you said, you can understand other people's perspectives, and like I try to as well. But like, I think a lot of people just stretch. Like they're doing the most. Like there's no reason to look so deeply into some situations, and to me that aggravates me because it's just like there's like. If, like you said, the context, like look at the context. If you're just looking at and it's like a thing like a clickbait, like you just see the title where it's like, oh, okay, that was definitely it. And it's like, no, go to the context, understand exactly what was trying to be said, and then you can decipher what your feelings from it. You know what I mean? Like don't look at the short, understand the full before. Yeah. But to kind of similar, we had a guest on our podcast, and he's really smart. He's going to be a pilot. He's trying to be an astronaut. Very smart, but he said it like analogy. It was like our generation is more susceptible to change because like technology has changed growing up. Like from when I was 12 years old, we had a flip phone, and then every year we had something different. It's compared to like a generation, like say not you guys, but a little older, I would say. Growing up, you had one phone for 5 years or one thing for 5 years, and then so it's like your change in technology wasn't as rapid. So like for us, like change is consistent for us. So like we will see, like we understand change, not understand change more, but we'll adapt to change more, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's like a phrase, and I'm sure there's you guys are digital natives. Like you've never not existed in a time without certain types of technology. Whereas like I grew up, so we had a fucking party line out in Colorado. We lived out there in rotary phones and all that shit. But so I don't know what they call it. I think it's digital nomad. Not the career field, but like in the sense of like we were young enough when technology started changing rapidly that we could adapt to it quickly, right? And unlike looking at my grandmother with a fucking computer who just can't wrap her head around it. So for us, like we can adapt and change, but we're a lot slower with it because we have to process and be like, I don't know about this shit. And then after we process it, we're good to go. But whereas opposed to like the expectation is for things to change.
Exactly.
And I think too, the older you get just biologically, like the smaller your circle of change gets. Because you get old and you're like, I've done all this shit. I don't want to fucking deal with this anymore.
I just want to change anymore.
Where I'm comfortable. And like your dad, he was like, I talked or did this shit for however many years. Like, why the fuck am I going to change it now for a bunch of little pussy ass bitches?
Exactly. Exactly. Word for word. Word for word.
The funny thing is, at our age, like, and probably the only reason that I've had to do any of it is because like I want to be employed and to have a decent job and provide for my family. I've got to play somewhat of the game, where it stays structured a certain amount of time. And that's one of the reasons on the show we don't talk about where we work, because some of the shit that comes out of our mouths could be an issue with a larger employer.
I would have lost my job multiple times.
So we just make sure we don't affiliate, any.
No, it's smart. That's smart.
Because we've also had conversation with guests and some of the tirades we've gotten into that if you took like a single clip out of this show, oh, we'd be fucking canceled
Yeah.
forever and always. But if you listen to our shit in context or over several episodes, we've talked to different people, and how we might come across in one conversation is not how we are
in general.
The rest, and most just because we like talking shit. And like we've had some pretty in-depth, like pretty serious fucking race discussions with some of our guests, but we've also had been giving each other shit for white shit and black shit in the same episode or different episode. And if you only took the part where we're fucking with each other out of it, it sounds really bad. But if you listen to the conversation and the talk, it's fucking great. It's just it's weird how that is.
I think. Sorry, I know for like even like race talk and stuff like that.
On your little heart.
No, I think like conversations, like it's important, but like some people don't like feel like, oh no, you shouldn't have that conversation. Like, no, why shouldn't I? You know what I mean? Like it's important to have. Like it may come off as bad, but that conversation needs to be had sometime. You know what I mean? Like we can have this conversation. It's a real thing. We can talk about it. So don't be, don't feel like you're gonna yell at me or come at me because I can't have the no. I'm gonna have the conversation because I can.
I think that's one thing that's different, even that's changed between your age and say the younger ones come up, they're 6-7 years younger than you, is now it's no, there's no conversation like this is wrong. You fucking stop. Like there's never an open mind of, well, explain to me so I can understand. Like I'm happy to change for the betterment of things if I understand why. I'm not going to arbitrarily change or arbitrarily do what I'm told. And that's, I think, in the midst of that being accustomed to shit changing all the time, you got, and I don't mean you specifically, but younger crowds also become instinctually accustomed to just accepting whatever change it is and just changing along with it without any question of, well, why are we doing this? Why is this changing? And because to question that is to automatically be looked at as standing against it.
Yep, I agree. And for sure.
Yeah, like, oh, you can't say that anymore. Well, why can't I say that? Because I don't mean what you're saying. I mean,
right.
So let's find out where the disconnect is between what I think I'm saying and what you think I'm saying. But you can't have a discussion because people, and I'm not saying there's always exceptions. We've had some really great discussions, but one of the things that always impresses me is when someone younger than me is willing to actually discuss something without getting mad about it. Right? So I can question, well, why the fuck do you think that? I think that's stupid. And you'd be like, well, this is why. And you can be like, you're an old fuck. Like, why do you think that way? But we can talk about it.
Exactly.
Okay, boomer. Yeah, boomer. Yeah. I hate that term. Well, let me phrase it. I don't mind the term. I hate when the term's used incorrectly. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, if you're calling anyone under the age of 55 a boomer, you're way the fuck off.
And stupid.
And stupid.
Yeah.
No, I agree with your point 100%. Even like when I talk to anyone, even my dad, because like I said, me and my dad, we don't see eye and eye to everything because like I just said, he's very stuck in his ways. So, but I try to understand. Like I won't just come at him without trying to at least understand. Like that's something I picked up from my older brothers, from my dad, where it's just like, but like you said, I will question everything. And sometimes I come off as very annoying because like I don't understand it, so I'm gonna question it. Like, but maybe like I said, I will come off very, very annoying sometimes, and I know that I do. But like at the same time, it's like prove this to me. Like if I don't understand it, and you're passionate about it, prove it to me. And like I said, I come off annoying, but I will question a lot of things. If I don't understand it, I'm just like, no, I make me understand it then.
Yeah, I think that's a really great, I guess, perspective to have.
Yes.
Because it's getting more and more lost. And I'm not talking about like kids these days because I know people our age that, but I think a lot of people our age that buy into it, they just want to be.
They're afraid to get left behind.
They're afraid to get left behind, and they just want to be in the midst of it. So they'll be like, well, blah 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 blah. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like I saw you doing whippets and grabbing fucking girls' boobs at a concert fucking 20 years ago. What the fuck are you saying? Type of shit.
No,
me
for
too,
sure.
my ass. I've seen you grow more girls at parties than anyone I've ever known, type of shit. But I just it always blows my mind of anyone's inability or unwillingness to have a discussion about something. Because we'll talk about anything. You want to bring up the most uncomfortable shit in the world, but it's part of that discussion is and the maturity that's in that is you being willing to hear my perspective and not just trying to prove your point the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
100%.
they're gonna both of us will walk away better right at the
Yeah.
end.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah,
Well, that's the only way things change in the world.
I don't
is
agree.
if
You shut the fuck
have
up.
two people that are willing to talk, and if both people are willing to be wrong, if facts are put in front of them and
that's
shown
it.
to them,
What you just said. You both
you have
need
to be willing to be wrong. That's it. And while it's a joke I make all the time. It's like I'm willing to be wrong. I'm just usually not.
Right.
Like whatever. It's a joke, but I'm 100% willing to have my mind changed.
Well,
about
I can
something.
say without like all sincerity and no bullshitting, I've had my mind changed on certain things via conversations on this podcast.
100%.
Well, let me rephrase it. Probably not my mind changed as much as
Your perspective and your thought processes.
Yeah, I'd be like, I've been thinking about this incorrectly. Holy shit.
Yes.
And that's more than once. And I'm not ashamed to admit that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Not in this show. Like, you haven't changed my mind about anything. You fucking you millennial cunt. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
Actually,
boomer.
Right? No, that's another thing. Like, that's the funny thing is people our age now and boomers are using millennial wrong at this point. Like,
Yeah, for
anyone under 30, you're a fucking millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't like being lumped into millennial.
Yeah. Well, they have a because it used to be we were classified as the very tail end of Gen X, right? Going right into millennial. And then they shifted the dates a little bit and they classified, we have a little pocket where Xennials.
Now, is that what we are?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Because we're a little bit of both. A little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
Why they call it Xennials if we were kind of right there on the cusp of X and Y? Why didn't they call it Yennials?
Yennials? That would have been way
I like
cooler.
it better. It's way closer to like Kanye.
Right. Yeah, but there's like Venn diagram crossover that we're right in the
we are right there, yeah. It's straight because my wife hits X for straight up, and
so
I'm
does mine.
right there on the.
Yeah.
On
Amanda's
the cusp.
77, yo.
That's right. She's older than my wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, man.
Can I ask you guys an related question? How do you guys feel about? All right, say less. I'll see you guys later.
how do we feel about what? Now?
How do you feel about the Zodiac signs? Like, what is your take on that?
I mean,
I've never been asked this on this show.
There are Zodiac signs, and that's it. That's the end of it. I know I'm a Capricorn, and that's the end of it.
Well, yeah. No, they're real. But what's your take on it though? Like, do you live by it? Or are you just like it's whatever? Like,
no.
No.
You can't prove it to me scientifically, so fucking no.
So here's my take on it, right? So I understand loosely. I'm not gonna go because I know Joey's fucking gonna pounce depending on what the fuck I say.
No, I've got something else I already want to say. Right. It has nothing to do with you.
And so I understand. I mean, obviously they're real things, but historically, right? They have played a role in different societies, different cultures, because they were more than just. It was more about the entire cycle of the universe and how everything fucking worked and different commonalities that happened in between these different seasons and times and months and shit like that. So to that end, yeah, I think there's some significance. I mean, there is like just from a purely anecdotal standpoint, if you take the Zodiac signs, right, and you attribute the personality traits that supposedly go with each one. Not 100%, but in broad strokes, they're pretty fucking accurate. I mean, they really are. So that to me is, I get where that ebbs and flows with the overall scheme of things. But as far as living your life based on that shit or any type of predictive, nah, fuck that. That's fucking dumb as shit in my opinion. But I understand where it comes from and the role that it has played or does play even for some people. And it's like a lot of shit. I'm not going to throw out any significance of anything because, again, you say prove it scientifically, but then again, don't prove it. You know what I mean? Or
right. I don't care if someone believes in it, but don't try to don't try to put it on me.
But again,
but you're Capricorn, so if you did this, then you would get that raise you want.
But that's one reason we look at things a little differently. Like I think we, on the big picture, like I say, in the details, I think we agree 100%. Like, don't give me that shit that this happened because of this.
Right.
But I see it a little more like I get where it comes from on this side where it's like, nah, it's all bullshit. Fuck that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I get what you're saying. Like throughout history, it's been needed for the seasons, things like that. But I don't. there's a reason that you only see positive shit whenever people give you your horoscope and things like that pertaining to your star sign.
Yeah,
because that's what people want to hear.
And I agree, but I guess that's what I'm saying. If on a,
but also now that we know that the Earth is flat, there's no need for astrology in the season.
It's all holograms, man.
That's it, dude. I share it with you. Never mind. Yeah,
but no. So that's my take. Is like I feel like there's some significance to it as a general concept, but not as a in the minutia of the details.
You should be basing your life off of it. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more at all. I am so happy you guys said that because that's exactly how I said it. And me and Simone got into a huge argument because she is so about it. And I said, to me, everything you guys just said was so valid. That was literally my argument. And she was just like, I don't. I think no. We're both Sagittarius, I believe. She's a Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius as well. And like you said, I understand it. I get it. The universe, the stars, I understand. But like for me to do something, you'd be like, "Oh, you did that because you're a Sagittarius." Like, no, I did this because there's just like what you guys said to me is on point, and like I'm happy you guys said that because like we've literally gotten into a huge discussion about it. And she's like, "No, it will change your life. You have to get into it more. You just see life differently." I'm like, no, the way I see life, like has nothing to do with that, like at all to me. Like you said though, is real. I understand it, but like it's not. I guess
I don't like that. If you want to really and truly buy into that, you could blame any bad thing that's ever happened on astrology or whatever. You like 9/11, the Holocaust. I mean, all of that stuff. You could blame every bit of that on star signs, and you take onus off of people at that point. But I don't know.
Hitler was,
but like. I can't.
I knew it.
Yep.
That's funny. But like circling back to
that's so Simone.
Well, there's an article right here about how the astrology was a big part of predicting what he did.
Sure.
Like, okay, yeah, nice.
Nostradamus predicted the Holocaust, and no one fucking decided to try to prevent it.
What are you talking about? You don't believe it's real anyway.
but circling back, that was one of the things that like for me when we had that argument, I would ask her a lot of questions. Like she was passionate about it, so I'm like, tell me about it because I don't understand. So make me understand. But like she was just like you just have to like it was her way of explaining is different. So like it was hard to communicate, but like it was to the point where like no, I don't understand this. So make me understand it. But like she still couldn't. So. I don't want to come off as an ass for people that are watching and just like, wow, he just doesn't get it. Like, I don't get it. So I want to try to understand, but I just don't understand.
But you know what? The difference between you and I is I don't want to get it.
He came out want to understand his friend more than anything.
Sure, I get it. Yeah, I get that. Rest assured, if you decide you get into star signs, I don't need to know or get it because you're my friend.
So here's the thing: is I read into them a little bit just because that shit enters. I used to be, not so much anymore. I used to be a big theology nerd. I love like theology, anything having to do with like understanding the universe. And people will say, well, that's not religious. And to me, I define personally religion as any system of belief that helps you make sense of the world around you and give you some type of inner peace. That's what the fuck there's organized religion, but as a whole, religion as a device is to help you to make sense of your place in the world, right?
Sure.
I agree.
And so when you have somebody that's convinced if it's what's helping them explain the things around them and why things happen how they happen and why people are how they are, there comes a point that you can't explain it logically, right? And so that's where I think some of that, and I'm not trying to talk negative about her all, but anybody that has like you can't articulate it. It's kind of like talking to go talk to a hardcore like Baptist or anybody or a Catholic and have them explain to you like why do you believe it. If you ask why enough, it's gonna be like, well, it just does. It'll change your life though. You need to believe in it because there's not a scientific articulation. They can make convincing arguments, but then I can come back with you with 1,000 arguments of why the Catholic Church has been responsible for more violence than any other organization.
Not the
on the
church.
Planet.
The people in the church.
You notice I pulled off of that, by the way.
I know you did.
I did. I went into my little rant, but god damn it. Anyway, we got into a mini. We were on a show the other day, and I went on a little religious rant. One of the guys was Catholic.
No, I heard. I did. It wasn't it. Was it? Who was it? Because I feel like I heard you guys talk about some type of religion.
It was. Oh,
well,
we've talked about
about
religion a
ours,
lot.
but we were on an episode.
Oh, you're
of-
on someone
that
else's.
series. You're on someone else's podcast, actually coming out tomorrow as we record this, coming out Sunday the 6th. So
Good plug.
anyway,
So I didn't hear that. I did not. Hear
But I went on a rant back, and he disagreed and put his
well,
reason
it's
out,
because
but
the way they define certain things that you and I.
No, I could have gone into it, but I was like, well, we were a guest on their show, and I pumped my brakes. I did.
Yeah.
I got my spit out. I spit my rant, and then I fucking we moved on.
Sagittarius.
I know. I'm a Pisces.
I don't know.
That's
what
why
the
I
fuck
cry
you
a
are.
lot.
Is that why? I would like. Yeah.
You know the last time I cried was?
I don't know.
Do you remember when I made that music video of getting punched in the face a fuck ton?
Oh, so you cried because you're a pussy. Then.
Yes.
Okay.
No, it was the weirdest shit. Like, so I got home, right? Had just a pound because I had a fucking concussion, and got the fuck home, laid down, had a bad headache, put the show on my eyes, and like viscerally, uncontrollably, nothing made me sad. I started sobbing like a fucking baby. It was the dumbest shit ever. Lasted for about 30 minutes. Couldn't stop it.
So when
Don't
you
know
had to
why.
leave Spider-Man, you didn't cry or anything?
No,
like that?
you
Okay.
fucking cunt.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Seriously,
You guys like
I got
Marvel?
water.
Big Marvel guys?
No, so I
Sorry.
had.
I enjoy the movies.
We were talking about mental health shit. I had my first ever in my life, like true fucking panic attack. Like it's been a few weeks ago, and I made the mistake of telling this asshole about it, and now he makes fun of me at least once a week about having a panic attack. What a little bitch I am. So,
What are friends for?
right?
That's,
Yeah. Anyway,
funny.
yeah, but I'm dead inside. So
Why do you think that? You don't think that. You know that's not true. I don't even know you, and I know it's not true.
He's pretty dead inside.
When did that come about?
most of my
By
life.
divorce number 2,
No,
child number 2.
child number 2. No, it was I think for real, most of my life. You know, you try to play nice and deny it and do the shit you're supposed to do, but you know. But so along with the bipolar shit, I also got stamped with a nice antisocial personality disorder, which is, you know, fucking sociopathy. So I have emotion, but it's a very limited range, and it's mostly just. I mean, I could. That's why I'm wired. I don't have a lot of empathy or guilt and all that type of shit built in. You know,
I feel that.
yeah, but I mean, I wasn't not one of those like I can control. Like I'm aware of it, so it's not like, you know, it's like I can be a good husband and dad and all that shit as far as you watch your fucking mouth. But as far as choosing to do the things, like I'm a hell of a dad as far as, even though I'm fucking however long away or 3.5 hours away from the kids over the weekend. I was a shitty husband, but give me that. I will at least try hard.
Oh,
to
you
be a
want me to
decent
give you
dad.
that? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure you're a shitty husband.
Yeah. But a dad. I at least I put effort in.
I'm just, yes.
Fucking
for sure.
dick. But it's my choice. It doesn't come naturally. Like, I honest to God, and I could leave everyone I know right now and never come back and not feel bad about it.
Right?
You think you wouldn't feel bad about it, but you would have moments of feeling bad about it.
I think I would have moments of questioning I made the right decision or not.
All right. Tomato, whatever.
Okay. Anyway,
Can I ask you a positive podcast host question? How often do you guys talk about like that, like life things? Like, is that like a thing that you do not too often, or is that something that you like do? You know what I mean? Like, not even to maybe to yourself or to a friend or anyone. Like, how often do you just talk about problems, good things going on? Like, just talk.
On this show every week?
No, just in general. Oh, okay, yeah.
No. This is when we talk
Probably
about
not
shit.
probably not in the same way that you're talking about.
No, like I think Amanda and I, we talk a lot
Yes,
about
that's what I was
shit.
gonna- I talk to my wife about shit.
Yeah, that's
pretty
about
regularly, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to talk more, but again, it also kind of gotten filtered into here, and most of our arguments or whatever we talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And when we were younger, we both grew up in very heavily religious backgrounds, and so when we were younger, more idealistic, we used to have, you know, God talks about the Bible and all that shit. But but as we've gotten older and more cynical, not as much. And again, we'll bullshit about things sometimes, but as far as asking questions and who's and what's and why's and
yeah,
that's me and my wife. That's about it
for sure.
Yeah,
that's the same.
That's weird. I've seen it too. Like, even like you said earlier, you asked like about the podcast. Like, I've been able to open up a little about myself as well on the podcast. That makes me feel like not better, but like just being able to talk about things. Even if I I tripped over ice earlier, and I was able to just let it like say it, like made me feel a little better. So
Yeah.
Just like
Well,
talking,
Yeah. Well, my general perspective has always been, especially as I've gotten older, is like there's no reason not to talk about shit. Like I don't, because even if you don't look at it from a perspective of feeling good or feeling better, like it makes people more comfortable. If you're willing to be like exposed to them, then they're more likely to open up to you. And that's whether you're in an interview or just in like, if I just met you and we're talking and we're like just at a bar, not on a show, like we just met each other, whatever. And I offer up some personal information to you, it makes you much more likely to reciprocate and opens up a chance for discussion, relationships, whatever the fuck, if you care about building a friendship or like, I just don't like to get to know people, but I mean, that's just it's human nature, right? Like if you, and even as a point of manipulation, right? Part of disarming someone else and to make them receptive to whatever you want to say is to make them think that you're being vulnerable to them. Right. So it's human nature, right? Like, okay, you're showing, like, look at it like a dog, like you're showing your belly. I can show you a little bit of mine. And you get that even, playing field type of thing.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Humans are fucking weird like that though. Like they're so predictable.
Humans are weird. Humans are very strange.
Very easy to manipulate if you want to.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is with people is everybody likes to think that, oh, I'm so unique and I'm so special. And you are your own unique personality. Your being is unique, but as a human, we're all the fucking same. Like, I mean, some people have fucked up brain shit and like might process information different, but with broad strokes, most human beings, like, we're the same. Like the things that make you tick and motivate you are basically on the primal level, the same things that make me tick and motivate me. And in interaction, and again, the way you grow up, that whole nature versus nurture can affect some of that, but like depending on the personality type, you're just another dude, and we're all motivated. Like as much as we might try to repress certain things, it's still biologically in us, and that's a weird thing. Food, sex, and rest.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, like people like to have this conversation that they're more evolved, really, but that's really everybody. It's as animals, like we have prehensile thumbs and the ability to fucking make decisions and be sentient, but it's still food and sex. Like at the end of the day, food, shelter, and sex. How's that?
Yep, survival. Yep, I agree. That's like one thing that's like when you think deeply, it's just like we are just literally just like the most evolved animals on this planet, but we still are, have our human traits that just make us human.
Sure. All right. So one thing we want to do before we sign off tonight is something we do from time to time. It's and we don't have the music loaded on,
which makes me sad because I really love it.
Yeah, but we like to do something called Kink of the Week.
Okay.
And Steven's going to read out a kink and give us the definition, and we are going to discuss.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Imagine some 70s porn music playing right now.
Yeah. So this was, I was torn between two, and one of them I think I would say
sounds like a kink all its own.
I know, right? So this one is olfactophilia.
I thought we did that one before.
Nope.
Maybe we didn't.
And this is an arousal or sexual attraction to smells and odors emanating from the body, especially the sexual areas, as like breath, urine, feces, farts, etc.
Wow.
Queefs. It's the smell of that. Yeah. So it is a sexual attraction.
Olfactophilia.
of
That's
smells.
interesting because I could, and that's considered a kink?
Yeah, because it's a sexual arousal to the, like, usually people with that type of kink, it's like it's a really strong, it's not just oh, hey, I like when my wife smells fucking like sweaty after the gym. No, that's like, I smell some fucking like dirty asshole going by and I'm fucking 12 o'clock ready to fuck. That's what that is. If that's like Mozart to have, the song about sucking farts out of a lady's ass, that's what the fuck that shit is. Yeah. Yeah.
Olfactophilia. All right.
Olfactophilia.
That's what I said. Olfactophilia.
I thought you said I thought you said olfact.
No, olfactophilia.
Doesn't matter. But yeah. So like, I don't know. Do you, I feel like over some of those we've talked about, there's elements of that I could maybe understand a little more, just because, and I'm not talking about like the shit and stuff, but I mean, as a like pheromones, right? Are basically like there's a reason that like people like the smell of like being sweaty and can be tied with sensuality and
Sure.
so like that I get, but like somebody like dropping some ass in the fucking car and you'd be like, oh, we need to pull over right fucking now. Right. It's like, did you just shit your pants? Oh, game on. You know, like I just don't.
That's all the lube I need.
Yeah. Like I don't know anybody that has that.
I don't know anybody that has a, but
mean,
I
knew a dude.
understand it to an
I
extent.
knew a dude in the Coast Guard that was super into farting. Like super into girls farting.
Oh, really? Into girls
super
farting?
into it. Yeah.
Interesting. Farting on him or farting around him or just
It didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
No, like he had a thing. He and his girlfriend, like he would go for him. She would like get on all fours and like spread her cheeks and would fart for him, so he could watch. He said it was the weird. He said, "You ever watched a girl fart before?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Dude, it's like a little goes." And I was like, no. And he was like, dude, you need. I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, I like to watch. It wasn't so much the smell as he liked the sound and the visual of. I was like, I don't get it.
Dude, I'll fart for you on here one day.
No,
I can't.
but no, I couldn't imagine like being. What makes me think of?
I'm not turned off if a girl farts, but it doesn't turn me on either.
Yeah, it's not even the fart; it's the smell of it.
I don't care either way. Like whatever. If farts smell, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, like I just these blow. What do you think, Michael?
I don't even know what to think. I mean, I have also never met someone like that. I mean, to each his own. If that's what you like, that's what gets you off. That's what gets you off. But for me, I'll pass.
I feel like it's one of the least harmful of the ones we've read. Like,
oh, for sure.
Like, I mean, if it's just
I was gonna ask. Has there been a guest that's like, yeah, no, I actually do that. Like, I enjoy it.
We usually pick some of the more fucked up ones, and isn't, this one's fucked up, but it's more like gross.
No, but I had
gross fucked up. Yeah.
Like, I bet this person walks around a nursing home just fucking blue balling it all day. Just because all you smell is like
old people.
Just piss and shit. And,
yeah.
Oh man. Because I don't think it's a sexual attraction to what it's coming out of as much as just the smell. It's like, oh yeah.
You show up to a room at a nursing home and you smell it. And you're like, I can't go in there.
I can't.
Like, what's the matter? You get queasy.
I want to fuck something.
No. I just can't.
I get hard.
What happens? You throw up and you smell. It's not. Not out of my mouth, but I mean.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah. But
I have so many questions about that though. Like, what if like is it just like if another person is smelling bad, or like if you walk past like dog shit, like do you like is it just bad?
Well, that's a whole other kink altogether.
Yeah, no, I think it's specified as like primarily coming from but it could be bad breath.
Oh, okay,
too.
you did say that. Yeah, you did say that. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. But bad breath because it could be a sexual organ. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I don't. Cause I'd have to think though. People like that too, like, are the ones that want like dirty panties and shit to sniff, and because
they would love living in Japan then, because you can buy that shit in a vending machine.
Yeah, no shit. You can order it online from people. Like, if people,
you can,
dude. If anybody I thought would buy my dirty fucking, I'd sell that shit. I'd wear panties for a week to sell that shit.
This is the South, man. The summer is high season. You just shitting in high cotton at that point. Yeah. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. But anyway. I don't know. So,
I understand smells turning you on or whatever, but I don't understand the extent of.
Yeah. See, I feel like
walking into the bathroom after your significant other's just shit. Now you got to jerk off.
Right. Exactly.
I don't get that.
But I feel like some of that has to spurn through some like childhood trauma shit. Like you were made to sleep in pissy sheets for whatever period of time, and you start associating that with I don't know. It's the same type of thing that kind of evolved.
Or your mom called you in the bathroom while she was taking a shit to give you your chore list.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, see, I grew up in a household where shit like that happened.
I know.
Like my household, my mom walked around naked a lot. She's not a nudist at all, but I've seen my mom naked more times than I've seen my wife naked. Like, it's insane. It's not something I'm proud of. But that's my sister and I've talked about this. My sister and I've talked about this enough times. Like. I think we were indirectly sexually abused, maybe.
I don't know. In America, yeah. But I mean, there's other cultures that nudity is not an issue, and parents walk around naked all the time. But,
yeah, We're not in that culture.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, but
mean,
it is weird though, like how
So
societies view shit. No, that's weird too. But I was going on a different thing. But yeah, that's fucking weird, man.
yeah, yeah. Just glad I never smelled anything. I'd hate to be an olfactophiliac.
Your mom goes to like bend over to get something out from under the sink. You're just gonna whip of that shit, and you're fucked forever.
Literally and figuratively. Yeah, every time your mom's trying, you're just going. You look at your wife and like, you know what's happening when we get home.
Why can't you be more like my mother?
That's going to say, they say you marry people like your mom.
This got really weird really fast.
I feel like it usually probably will. Every time it probably does when you guys ask those questions, like those cards or whatever. Like it can't not.
I mean, up until this point, it's been a relatively tame episode, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we've been talking.
Michael didn't comment a lot.
He did not comment a lot.
It might be a closet.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
It's like
they're gonna find me out.
You read this week. This kink of the week is olfactophilia, and his name was fuck. Fuck. Oh, such a Sagittarius.
Michael, I think it's about time that we put a plug in. But let's so what kind of party podcast?
Yep.
What kind of party?
Kinda KINDA, not KINDOF. Kinda.
I know.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling everyone else.
Kinda. Right.
Yeah. Kinda.
Okay.
Party.
I thought it was an indirect jab at me again for fucking mistyping that shit twice.
Yeah.
I was a little lost at that time, but we're good.
Yeah, let us know what's going on, man. Socials, all that shit.
Yeah, so every social is What Kind of Party. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything. You find us everywhere. What Kind of Party. You can tap into us. We have short clips on the TikTok and YouTube. We have the full episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We have everything dropping. So as you guys know, I'm sure the people that are listening know, we like to talk about just life, get different perspectives on life, try to dig deep into positive, but also have fun, joke around. We do some would you rathers. We have some deeper questions on some cards and go from there.
All right.
Oh, yeah. They have some would you rathers that are like, oh, that's good. I want to steal that.
Nice. All right. So you can start watching and stealing shit for us.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for taking the time. Be sure to tell Simone thank you, even though she bailed early.
Yeah.
She did.
But thanks for sticking it out. But if you don't mind, hang out for just a second after we kill the stream
for sure.
and chat, and then we'll go from there. So next week we have nobody, but the suicide bottle.
But the suicide bottle
fucking
next
hell.
week. Yep.
Oh.
So lots to talk about next week.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has happened in the news lately.
Oh
so.
Jesus. I swear to shit, if you bring lists to the party, game fucking over. Well, I will quit next week.
We'll see.
All right. Have a good one.
Until next week. Goodbye. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at B3F Podcast. And on Instagram at B3F_podcast. YouTube has all of our videos. Support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee at B3F Podcast. Send all your questions or comments to admin at B3Fpodcast.com. Find us online at B3Fpodcast.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen. And as always, thanks for listening.